Welcome in, welcome in. Let us turn this volume up. Oh, I forgot to mirror it. Mrs. Mazook, how are you? Welcome, welcome. I'm just switching things around here, getting organized. Welcome in, welcome in. We are talking about what to do when you are in the roommate zone, if you want to get out. Thank you for the heart me, Mrs. Mazook. I appreciate that. Thanks for kicking us off. Appreciate you, appreciate you. Hi, Maggie. So happy to be here today. Thank you for the hug, Maggie. Oh, thank you for kicking us off with a big snuggly snuggle. I appreciate that. And thank you for the heart me as well, Maggie. Thank you for the heart me, honey. Charlotte, welcome in. I hope that you are well. Thank you for the populars and for the heart me, Charlotte. I appreciate you. So I had this thought that from our last discussion on Tuesday, when we briefly discussed schmexless marriages, that I would we had a lot of feedback on that, and so I thought that I would discuss how to move from the roommate zone into a perhaps more fiery, connected space. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody. Please get your heart me's in if you are coming in. I think this is a incredibly common topic, and thank you for the shares. Thank you for the taps. I appreciate that. That helps us get pushed out. I think this is a really common topic. Stokes, thank you for the heart me. Gee, Stokes, fancy seeing you here. Haven't talked to you forever. Stokes, I'm giving you a big hug. I love that picture. Cute little muffins. Cute little muffins. Gratitude goes a long way, right? I was talking about appreciation too. It's like thank you, honey, for the bouquet. I appreciate that. I think we take for granted, and like things get routine, and like you mentioned, Stokes, it's like sometimes when you just sit back and look what's right in front of your face, it's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is amazing. Can we talk about initiation? Adam, we can definitely talk about initiation. And that is one of the things that, thank you, Maggie, for the beautiful balloons. That's one of the things that, and for the budding hearts, and for the confetti. Win, Maggie. Adam, thank you for the roses. Appreciate everybody who is supporting and trying to push this thing out. I appreciate you. Initiating, Adam, can be a really uncomfortable place to be if you are in the roommate zone or if you are not in the roommate zone. I think that so many things come into play when it comes to initiation. And part of that is confidence. Part of that is not having that awareness of what perhaps your partner likes, what perhaps might turn them on, what perhaps will take them from that place of neutrality to being turned on. So there's a lot of different things to talk about with initiation, and I haven't done a live on that, and I'm certainly happy to discuss it again. Why is my crush ghosting me on social media after a week of talking? AJ, I think ghosting is an interesting thing, because ghosting says so much about the other person and less about who it's affecting, I guess, the most, the person on the other end being ghosted. I think ghosting is saying so much without saying anything. And I think that if it's not something that perhaps happened in life, like an accident or something that's like really a good reason why that they are not getting back to you, that's all the indication that I would need that this person doesn't want to choose me, and therefore I need to move on. Like, you can't force somebody to choose you. And if this is the very beginning of a relationship and they're not making the effort, that's going to give you all the information that you need to know on the effort that is going to be put forth in the future. And that's a tough pill to swallow, especially if it's somebody that you have a crush on and that you have feelings for. And I'm sorry for that. But it's also another indication that their emotional maturity level is not in a place where they are ready to have a real connection. Because if they are going to ghost you as opposed to having a real adult conversation with you, is that something that you want? Not something that I would want. So with regards to initiation, Adam, I would suggest that you have thank you, Barnsey, I would suggest that you have a sit-down conversation and say, I love connecting with you between the sheets. I have some questions for you though. I'm so curious about what gets you like riled up, what gets you turned on. What could I do? Like, you know, when I ask you if you want to get between the sheets and sometimes you don't think my delivery or that what I choose is whatever, float your boat, or I don't know the vocabulary that you use, Adam. But can you help me out? Like, what could I do that you would really respond well to? Some people like their hair played with and more nonverbal things. Some people like the direct approach. Some people like some people actually have like little towels that, like, if they're in the mood and they want to initiate, they like drape the towel over their partner's sink or something like that. It's like a little agreed upon signal. Some people really like that. So there's so many different ways you can approach initiation. It's just coming to a common understanding of what that looks like for you and what that looks like for your partner. And when you do that, when you have those types of conversations, you set each other up for success because you have a cheat sheet. They told you exactly what they like. You've had that conversation. You've given them what you like. And so you're kind of on the same page. And if that changes, and it will because we evolve, that's why conversations are really great to have again and again and again. And that's why I encourage conversations about your schmeck's life consistently. I mean, and I don't mean every day, but it's important to have a continuous conversation over the years. Miss Maggie, thank you so very much for that little festival. That was cute. I appreciate that. And thanks for the follow. Welcome to the family. Okay, let's talk about how do we go from roommates to lovers, or a lot of people don't like that word lovers. So roommates to having a spark, or from roommates to reconnection, or whatever it might be. Thank you for the festival bracelet, Maggie. How cool is that? I did not even know that was a thing. I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay. Question for the 43 people in here right now. Please share it out. Please tap the screen. Because again, I think this is such a very common topic, and I get asked it a lot. Shauna, how do I reignite the spark? How do I reconnect? In fact, that's why one of the reasons why I did write a book. Thank you, XFit, for the rose. I appreciate you. Please get your heart me's in as well. Question: when was the last time that you actually felt excited around your partner? Thank you for the follow, Elise. When's the last time you felt excited about your partner? Hi, Lizette. Not just comfortable, not like you're just coexisting, but like connected and you felt excited around them. When was the last time? See if we have any courageous members of the chat. Welcome in, everybody. We are chatting about how to go from roommates to feeling more connected. We had a live on Tuesday all about the benefits of having schmecks with your partner. Every time I see her, I love that Big Daddy. Love that. When she came home from training for a few days, I missed her. Aw, Stooks. Absence tends to do that when you have like a healthy, a healthy connection. Blitz 6 months ago. Okay. That's not too much time. Ashley, thank you for the heart me. Appreciate that. I thank you for your honesty. So when's the last time? It could be years, it could be months, it could be weeks, and we've been married for 22 years. That does not surprise me, Big Daddy, because when you choose that is exactly what you are going to get, right? It's a choice in my book, and that's in my book. Well, yeah, it is in my book, but it's a choice you make. And I think the more we understand that relationships don't just happen, you have to actually make them happen. We weren't taught that. So how are we supposed to know? Okay. So a lot of couples don't fall out of love. They just fall into patterns of disconnection. So I want to make that very clear, because society tells us when you don't feel that spark, or you feel like you're in a rut, or you're in the roommate zone, that the attraction's not there, you're no longer in love, trade it in, get a shiny new object, And that's not how relationships work. That's not how we were wired, like biologically, psychologically, physiologically. That's not how we were made. She drives me crazy, and she drives me crazy, and she also drives me Big Daddy. That's her job. And please give her a big high five for me, because she's apparently doing it well. I love it. I love it. I love it. So the scary part about this is that most people don't even realize that the disconnection is slowly happening. They don't see it because life gets in the way. You're riddled with stress, and you've got your day-to-day checklist, as I was talking to Stooks about earlier, because it's not just one big moment for the most part. It's small moments of disconnection that are repeated over time. And then you wake up one day and you think, how in the heck did I get here? And that's when panic sets in. Oh my gosh, like maybe we're not attracted to each other anymore. Like I'm not really sure to do. Like I don't want to like bring it up, because then that and like fear gets in the way. And perhaps if you do bring it up, you bring it up with accusations or with judgment. And like the last time we had Schmacks Honey was like 4 months ago. It's kind of annoying me. I've been thinking about it for days, and blah, 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 blah. Guess what that's going to do? It's going to incite those defense mechanisms. And then an argument ensues. And just know that I think conflict is a beautiful opportunity in relationships. So I don't want to say like, ooh, I don't want you arguing, or I don't want you working through conflict, because I very much think it's a very healthy thing in a relationship. In fact, when people say we never fight, that's a red flag for me, because you are two different people with various opinions. And I mean, the degree of fighting obviously can be very different. It just can be like little tiny little things, or it can be big blow-ups. But I'm saying if there's not a time where you are not on the same page, I have some questions for you. Okay. Why do couples lose the connection? Because disconnection isn't random. It's predictable, it's gradual, it's often unintentional. And I've got a few things to go through on why this happens. I've got 5. I pulled 5. So the first one I have for you is that, and here we go again, everyone's going to say, oh, you talk about this all the time. Yep, I do, because it's important. Emotional safety. And one of the reasons why disconnection happens is that emotional safety erodes. And what does that look like? HHGRN, thank you for the follow. Emotional safety means I can be myself without the fear of being dismissed, judged, attacked, all those things, right? So when it begins to erode, when the level of it drops, people stop sharing, honestly. The vulnerability starts to trickle away, and filters begin to come in. And all too often we shut down or become reactive, we withdraw. And then what happens to disconnection? It widens, right? And what does that look like in real life? Well, from my perspective, dealing with couples on the daily, it's sarcasm that replaces sincerity. It's eye rolling, it's sighing, it's tone shifts. Thanks, Lisa Michelle, for the Go Populars and for the Heart Me. Appreciate you. If you have not yet got your Heart Me, please do so. Welcome to the fam, John. Thank you for the follow. What else does it look like? Avoidance in conversation, avoidance in intimacy. It's just, I'm keeping the peace. HHGRN, thank you for the Heart Me. Appreciate you. People don't open up where they don't feel safe. Do most FAs eventually lose attraction? I don't know what you mean by FAs. I don't know if I'm having a brain fart or what, but I don't, can you tell me what an FA is? Do you go live at certain times and days, please? Yes, I actually do. I go Tuesdays at between 11:30 and noon. That's PST. That's Tuesdays. And then Thursdays, usually between 3:30 and 4 PST. Fearful. Oh, okay. Fearful avoidance. Do they lose attraction? When I saw FA, I thought that was usually when people don't spell things out in here. Usually it's like something derogatory or something else. So thank you for clarifying. Here's the thing with attachment styles. Thank you, honey, for the "You're Awesome" bear. I appreciate that. I'm gonna use like a blanket statement. It doesn't matter if you're a fearful avoidant. It doesn't matter if you're securely attached. It doesn't matter, like, it doesn't matter what style you have. It is a choice that you make. Thank you for the Cupid koala. It is a choice you make. Every single solitary day, you choose either to take those opportunities of connection or not. You either jump on those bids of connection with your partner or not. Every interaction that you have with your partner, you have a choice. You can make them connecting, you can make them disconnecting. There's no in between. So every interaction either brings you a little bit closer and increases that emotional safety or maintains it. Jack, thank you for the follow. Or is somehow disconnecting, whether it be through your body language, your tone, the words you choose. So it's a choice. And I know, being a fearful avoidant, you've got a lot of things that you need to work through, and you perhaps are making a lot of your decisions based on fear. Thank you, Maggie, for the love you. Love you right back. It's still a choice. And when you look and you find the things on a daily basis that you appreciate about your partner, and that if you choose to see the positive and you choose to lead from like an appreciative space, a place of gratitude, as opposed to everything they do pisses me off. When they snore, when they leave their socks around, when they pee on the toilet seat, when they did. If you're focusing on all the negative things, whether you're a fearful avoidant or not, you're going to see more negative things, and it is going to appear that attraction is waning because all you're focusing on are the negative things. Awareness, thank you for the follow. Trey, thank you for the heart me. Appreciate that. So, again, it's a choice. So the first one is, I have a question for you. And this is kind of like a duh question, but have you ever held something in because you knew it would turn into a fight or a disagreement? 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Have you ever held something in because you knew it would turn into an argument? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Mary Henry. Good for you, Mary Henry. 0? What does that mean, honey? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Mine would be a 1. I've held some things in because I knew that they would turn into a fight. Glasmo, thank you for the follow. Mary is strong. I'm going to call you out on that, honey. I'm going to call you out on that later. Honey is going to be held to the fire on that one later. We graded a curve here. 0. No, that's not an option. 1 for yes, 2 for no. I think the emails in the past couple days are very much, it's a choice that you make. Sometimes it's not a bad thing when you filter your comments, because sometimes saying things from a heated space when you are dysregulated doesn't end well. So when you wait, you pause, you are in a more regulated space, you choose your words better. And it doesn't need to escalate. Therefore, you are maintaining that emotional safety. Mandy, when was the last time have you ever done anything? What was my question? Have you ever held something in because you knew what you would say would turn into a fight? Hey, Marty, how are you? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Have you ever held something in because you knew it would turn into a fight? Adrian, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the fam. I love your comment, Lizette. Oh, that's funny. It's a setup, African. It's not a setup. He's really a great communicator. In fact, he is like other than my stepdad, he's like the best communicating male that I think I've encountered. So I'm very lucky. I am very lucky. But not often enough, because I'll say something even when I know it leads into a fight. That's awareness, Mandy, right? And I think with awareness comes change and comes that ability to, I always say, practice the pause. Because when a piece of dynamite gets hurled at us and we grab it, we can hold on to it and hopefully diffuse it. We can throw it back, in which it escalates, or we can choose not even to grab it when it's hurling our way. We can step out of the way. Within those 5 years, my mom got diagnosed with cancer. We had our son, and my son got diagnosed with autism. Oh, that's a tough 5 years. I'm sorry that was a tough 5 years. Ajita, we are here to support you. We are very much here to support you. People don't understand that sometimes you need to pick your battles. Trey, I like that, with the sideline of, if it's something that is bothering you and it needs to be voiced, it needs to be voiced. Otherwise, resentment builds up. But I come from the spot where, when the immediate moment when something happens and you get heated and you start hurling accusations, whatever you're saying, that is going to bring out defense mechanisms, and then you have a full-on war, right? So it's sometimes nice to practice the pause and just say, hey, like, I wasn't ready for that. I'm gonna need a few minutes. Or, hey, can we just put a pause on this conversation and come back in a few minutes, because I just need a breather. I don't want this going in a direction where we are disconnected or we're fighting, because I love feeling connected to you. But I do want to have this conversation. I just don't want what I say to be disconnecting. Practice the pause. Practice the pause. Okay, so the first reason why we get into that place of roommate-ness is emotional safety erodes. The second one is people within the partnership stop being intentional. So early in the relationship, there tends to be high effort, high curiosity, high attentiveness, and everything is like blissful and new and woohoo, right? Long term, and again, it's a choice. All too often, assumptions replace effort. And what do I say about assumptions? They are relationship destroyers. They are connection obliterators. They do a number on libido. Stop assuming. Get curious. Ask questions. What does that look like? So an example would be, they know I love them. Like, we've been married for 20 years. They know I love them. Like, it doesn't need to be said all the time. Or like, do I need to show it all the time? They know I do. No. Show them. Tell them. How much effort does that actually make? Or take, excuse me. Hey, Auntie. Yeah, sucks for me being with someone who likes to have the last word. And Ashley, that could be a series of conversations too, because all too often it's a pattern that's repeated that is disconnecting, right? It's no longer serving your relationship. And I'm not saying that he needs to be, or your partner needs to be called out, but I am saying that sometimes when we deliver our message, if we can frame it in a way that educates and comes from a place of vulnerability and shows our experience in the matter, things tend to change. Or it brings more awareness with increasing potential for change. And that's what I'm talking about today, Ajita, being in the roommate zone. 2 more hearts, everybody. If there's anybody in here that has not got their heart me, please get your heart me in. Appreciate that. Thank you, honey, for the, whatever that was, blooming ribbons. That was cool. Maggie, thank you for this one. I appreciate you. Okay, so here's another example. Thank you, XFit, for the heart me. I appreciate you. Yay, XFit 22. Here's another example of what that looks like in real life when we stop being intentional. If you were in a pattern of going on date night and then all of a sudden you stopped and date nights disappear, that is such an opportunity for connection that has now gone by the wayside. Stacy, thank you so much for the heart me. When do you walk away from no intimacy? Matt, this is the live for you, and I'm talking about it. I'm talking about the whys behind it right now, and then potentially what to do about it. So stick around, because this is such a common topic. I get asked about it all the time. And can you come back from it? Absolutely. And there have been people that have had sexless marriages for years and come back, and now it's even stronger. So it's how you approach it. It's how you respond to things. It is a choice that you make to change your behavior. Like, again, we've only gone through 2 so far. You stop being intentional and emotional safety erodes. Like, there are a lot of reasons why we end up in these positions. And so if you are aware of the whys, you can avoid them and do perhaps opposite of what you are doing and what you did to get in this space that you were in that you no longer want to be in. Because the roommate phase, no thank you, I don't want to battle. I hate that it takes you out of the gifting thing when somebody asks you to battle. Like, no thank you. Okay. What else does it look like? Okay, so when you were so excited at the very beginning of your relationship and you used to check in all the time, hey, thinking about you, how was your day today? How did that meeting go? Did you nail that presentation? How'd the exam go? Whatever it is. Those become non-existent. I don't want those to become non-existent, okay? So stop making them non-existent. Again, it's a choice. Choose something different. Okay. Check-ins are important in long-term relationships because it makes your person feel special. It makes them feel thought of. That is an emotional need that we all have, to feel valued, to feel seen, to feel loved, to feel wanted, to feel understood. And when someone reaches out and say, hey, I was thinking about you, like, that's meaningful. Oh, how cute is that? That's a new one, Maggie. Thank you very much for the melodic birds. I wanted to see what they look like. Head and neck cancer. Oh, the awesome month. Oh, the best. That does not sound like an awesome month. I'm sorry. What you know about HPV, squamous cell tongue cancer? I know a lot about HPV. I've done a lot of videos on it. Ashley, thank you so much for the little wink heart. That's kind of cute. That was really cute. The little wink wink. If you want to DM me and we can have a conversation on that if you'd like. We don't lose connection because we stop loving. We lose it because we stop showing it. We become lazy. We become complacent. Complacency, it doesn't work in relationships. Normalize STDs. They're actually called STIs because they're not diseases. And it's not that I want to normalize them. It's just that I'm not sure what your comment is. I'm not going to go there because I don't know what you're trying to say. Here's another question for you. When was the last time you did something intentional for your partner? No special occasion. They didn't ask you to do it. You just did something because you wanted to. Something kind for them. When's the last time? Sun, thank you for the heart me. He doesn't know what he's trying to say either. Yeah, I'm not really sure the intention of that, so I'm not going down that road. I mean, STIs are a thing. I don't know. He finally cooked dinner and I folded his clothes. We don't live together. That's nice, Ashley. I've been doing that since January, consistently. Doing what? Kind things, intentional for your partner? I love that, Ajita. This is just one small thing that makes a difference. We've got a lot of other things that are at play here. Because intentional behavior and intentional choices are just a small part of the reason that we end up in the roommate zone. The lack of small intentional moments or choices. So, good evening, San. I don't understand that. Don't understand what? So Ashley is the only person in this entire chat that has done something nice and intentional for their partner with no special occasion. That's some awareness. That means we all have some work to do, right? I have. Good job, Matt. I sent her Zelle $1,000 while she's on with her mom. That's nice, David. That's super kind. Lisette. I do that through cooking. Yes, you do. I have just yesterday. Love it. Love it, Maggie. Good job. I don't get it. I am not understand what you're trying to say. You don't get it in return? I help out with any errands or folding laundry. Love that, Lizette. Suzette, thank you so much for the follow. So thank you for the little melodic birds. I used to play the flute when I was in high school. That's funny. I'll dog sit for you. It's on, Ashley. We actually need a dog sitter. I sure don't. I found my husband his favorite jeans on eBay and that are no longer available. Oh, that's a really kind thing to do, Adrian. I love that. I love that. Good for you. However, it's you only that did something because you want something. Yes and no. You only did something because you want something. That's her response, Matt. And so that's a really good moment to call your partner out. Because if it's not a transactional moment, if you weren't expecting anything in return, then say that. Absolutely not, honey. I just wanted to do it for you because I thought you'd like it. Give her a kiss or give your partner a kiss or on the cheek or a hug or whatever, and let that sink in. Because often that sounds a little bit like an insecurity to me, and that really has nothing to do with you or the intentional, act of kindness that you just portrayed. And it's not like it's not and just be careful with the tone in that, because that could come across really rude too. But if you would say absolutely not, I just wanted to do something kind for you, I love you, kiss him on the cheek and move on. You played the clarinet, Mary Henry? That's awesome. I did months ago. Stop because she said in therapy that it is fine. Okay, let me go back. I stopped months ago because he said in therapy that it's fine, but he's self-sufficient. Um, that I would hopefully your therapist called that out, because I would call BS on that. I don't think anyone is self-sufficient at all. We were put on this earth to connect and to work with people. Nobody can get through life on their own with no help from absolutely anybody. And emotional needs that we all have, it's a human thing, not just like a gender thing or a one person on the planet has thing. We all have emotional needs that we require to be met. They're not all met by our partner. That's why we have community and sisters, friends, churches, whatever your community looks like to you. But I would hope that your therapist called BS on that, because I would have a lot to say about that comment. Did I do something wrong for him to go with me for a week? I'm not sure what you're saying there. Single dad here, so I do everything, but when girlfriend helps, it means a lot. Single dad here. So I do everything, but when girlfriend helps, it means a lot. I love that, Blue. And here's the thing about girlfriends, right? Like, and boyfriends, and I'm talking about like at the like sort of beginning stage of the relationship, whether she's been your girlfriend for 5 minutes or 5 years. We teach people how to treat us, and I know that's said so much, but if you need help and you're just waiting for her to help, and then you're like, oh my gosh, that felt so good. I don't want that to be a breadcrumb thing. Ask for help. Or you could say something like, when she does something, that means so much to me when you take the time to fill in the blank. I love it when you help out. It makes me feel loved. It makes me feel special. It makes me feel fill in the blank. And you will find that pattern will repeat itself, and hopefully the frequency increases. I give words of appreciation often. I love that, Laura. I love it, especially if your partner's love language is words of appreciation, right? Okay. So we talked about I guess I have to correct myself there. It's words of affirmation, but words of appreciation are very much included in that too, right? I just want to make myself clear. I didn't make that clear enough. Number 3, the third thing that happens to get us in this state of roommate is they become functional partners instead of intimate partners. And what do I mean by that? So the relationship tends to look more like a business than an intimate journey. And Bain, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the fam. So it's all about bills. It's all about kids. It's all about schedules. It's all about just the day-to-day, like little checklist, right? And when we become aware of this, because this happens, I mean, this is life, right? Like the kids, the bills, the job, like we all have a list. But when we are aware of it, we can make intentional choices like we just talked about, and be more collaborative and work together as a team to stay and maintain that level of intimacy. Is wanting reassurance or needing reassurance a red flag? No, it's not, Diana. It is, we all want to be reassured. We all want to hear our partner say how amazing we are. We all like to feel special. It's not a red flag. I mean, there are varying degrees of needing reassurance. And perhaps if there's an insecurity there, or if there's more going on, it's something that we would need to address. And we would hopefully support them as they work through it. But everybody needs reassurance. Thank you, Maggie, for the little melodic birds. Thank you for the share, Sally. Everybody needs reassurance. This is a space where emotional connection becomes secondary. Thank you so much for the heart, Becca. I hope that you're well. So what are some signs in the wild of, like, in your homes? Like, what am I seeing? There's no deep conversations. There's no curiosity about each other and each other's internal worlds. there's a space where you feel like more teammates than intimate partners. Of course, Diana. There are no apologies often. Yep. Should you stay with your partner if you both lose attraction but you still like each other? Henry, that's a really good question. Oh, how cool is that? I would like to be there right now with you, honey. Can we do that? The desert camp. How cute is that? Thank you, honey. Can you reignite the spark of attraction? 100%, Henry. In fact, I would like you to exhaust all options, especially if you like them. There's a lot of times when the like isn't there and you're like, can't stand that person. They're a horrible person, they're unkind, they're abusive, they're whatever, fill in the blank. And there's no chance of you wanting to spend any more time with that person. That's one highway we go down, right? Another one, you like the person, but you've become complacent. You've been lazy. You both have not been doing the work. That's what we're talking about here today. It's not one person's problem not one person's fault if you end up being roommates. It's both of you. You were lazy. You were not intentional. You did not choose each other every single solitary day. And so that state of disconnection increased, and now here we are. I like my person, but I'm not feeling that like fire that I want to jump their bones. Well, it's time to put in some intentional work, build that emotional safety, start talking to each other again, start being curious and like really paying attention to your partner and understanding how they tick again. I explained it to her like a punch card. Do 10 good things, and the 11th time, maybe you can get. Well, that to me is a little bit transactional, Matt. I don't know how I feel about that. That's like a sticker chart. Thank you very much for the garland. So if you do these 10 things for me, then the 11th time you do it, you get schmecks. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, if they're fun, flirty things, I love that. Because if you're in a great state of connection and that is something that you use to increase that level, look at that little level up, Sparks. Look at you leveling up. I love it. Good job, Becca. Again, if it's a flirty thing, like I do so many like cute little flirty exercises with my clients, like that involve, no, I don't want to give too much information away, but like that can be made into like a really cute kind of flirty thing if you're in a state of connection already and you're just trying to increase that level. But if you are completely disconnected and you're like, okay, if you fill in the blank, you get 1 star on your chart, and you're not going to get what's below the waist here unless you fill up that entire chart. I have a problem with that. Thank you, Becca. Have a good one. I have a problem with that. There's a way to use that in a way that is fun and flirty and very connecting, but not when you're in a disconnected state, not if you are at a roommate place at all. There are so many other things that can get you back to that state of connection without expecting your partner, like monitoring your partner. That to me is a hierarchical thing. How do you say the word? Like there's a hierarchy there. Like I am in charge. I am in control of the intimacy you get. And every time you punch a card, you can get closer to me. But I don't feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. Well, actually, I do, because I just told you. Okay. So we're talking about functional partners instead of intimate partners, and with no deep connections, no curiosity about each other, and there's more of like a teammate feeling than a lover or like a connected, intimate partnership. Here's the thing: you can run a household together and still feel completely alone, and we want to get out of that zone. I grew up with Love Is cartoons. Me too. I love that, Bison Lover. Okay, connection. Love it. They're so stinking cute, aren't they? Are you from Canada? I want to know if you're from Canada because they were in our paper every stinking morning, our newspaper. And in high school, my boyfriend at the time in high school used to cut the Love Is out every single morning and put it on my locker. So stinking cute. Oh, New York, so close. That's awesome. I love that. Okay, here's a question for you having to do with connection. Do your conversations feel more like meetings or connecting times? What love is that one? It was in our papers in Barbados? No way, Sandy. I love that. Are you talking about the book, Lizette? It's just little teeny. Honey, thank you so much for the melodic birds. Like every little page is a. They were in your paper too, Maggie? That's no way. It's just every little cute little page is something about what love is. Okay, thank you for the desert camp, honey. Win African in the chat. No, it's a book. It is a book. Mom and I used to cut them out and save them. They're so stinking cute, aren't they? Oh, Lizette, no way. I thought it was a Canadian thing. Look at here. Look at me learning. Okay, do your conversations right now feel like more of a meeting or a time to connect? More of a meeting or time to connect? One or two? That's my husband. More of a meeting or time to connect? I know you know that, Ashley. Bitch sessions. Okay, Bison Lover, we got to change that. We got to change that. Oh, no way, Maggie, really? I never saw a poster, but I definitely got those on my locker every morning. You didn't? You did. You're BSing me. Are you talking in general or love-wise? Diana, I'm not sure what you're talking. Like, oh, I'm talking with your partner. Do they feel like more like meetings or more like a connection time? Almost like a meeting recap. And here's the thing, Stokes, like we go through phases, right? And when you're in the trenches of like toddlerhood or like teenagers, sometimes it can feel like that. That's normal. But when you have that awareness that these conversations are more like meetings than they are like connection times, it sort of like not forces you, but can help you change the direction of your conversation. Even if those meetings, those checkup things, Roger, I don't like hearing that. I don't like hearing that at all. We can change the direction of them. 1 and 2, Sally, that's fair because that's really normal. I've never been in a relationship, but talked to this guy. It seemed more like meetings than a connection. Gotcha, Diana. Thank you for sharing. Maggie. Thank you for those colorful wings. Lately, like meetings, but because he sees conversations, I must be unhappy if I need to talk about it. Mandy, okay, then we need to have a discussion with them and say, honey, I want you to know, from where I sit, it seems as though you feel like every time I want to have a conversation, I'm unhappy. I want you to know that's not my truth. That's not how I feel. Sometimes I just love to have a conversation with you because I'm curious about fill in the blank. I want to connect with you, and it's a very normal, natural, biological thing that women do to connect. Men do too, but I think men often see conversations as, oh, here we go, she needs a talk. And then they're in trouble, right? No, I just want to talk to you. That's one way I connect. And you can save a bitch session or like a something that is like bubbling up or an issue that you're having. You can save that for another time. But I think it's really, really important that when you leave this live, you plan to have a conversation and just let them know, hey, honey, I just want you to know that every time I want to talk to you, it's not because I'm unhappy. Like a lot of times, like the majority of times, I just want to feel close to you. I don't think that is going to bring out some defense mechanisms and a war, right? Because that's being really vulnerable. And people want to feel wanted. People want to hear that they are desired and want to be close, right? You can't win with someone that thinks you're always wrong. Dara, I have questions about that. Because statistically speaking, that's not even possible in a relationship. Like, so I would love to know more on that. A very good vent helps. 100% a vent helps. We all need that. African, never knew your name. Oh, yeah, that's his name, Ashley. I intended to have a connection talk, but it ends up being a meeting. Okay, so Lizette, if it starts veering off and like you're getting off the train tracks, reel them back in. Reel them back in. I was actually talking to a client yesterday, the day before, and like the conversation that they were having between each other was going off the rails. And I said, reel him back in. Focus on what we're talking about. I don't want this to be a meeting, honey. I want to feel connected to you. A big hug goes a long way. Oh, bison lover. Agreed. I totally agree. And when you hug your person for a certain duration of time, 20 seconds or more, it releases oxytocin in your body, which is the bonding hormone, and it just does a lot of good thing for your body. Reel them in, Lizette. Like a conversation is going to go where you allow it to go, right? So boundaries, girl, boundaries. I don't want to go off the tracks. I want to talk about things that are connecting because I miss feeling close to you, or whatever you want to say. Okay, number 4 is unresolved resentment. Thank you, Ashley, for love you so much. I appreciate you. Unresolved resentment. And here's the thing. There's a few things that destroy connection: assumptions, expectations. Another one is resentment. Thank you for the heart, Melia. House of Hendrick, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the fam. Resentment is another one that destroys connection because it's rarely about one big thing. It's an accumulation of little tiny things, right? And what does that look like in the wild? I asked for this before, or they should know by now. Like, how long have we been together? Like that's not going to go over well. Why? Resentment erodes patience. It obliterates desire. I almost said the word that TikTok doesn't like. It creates emotional distance. And here's the thing about resentment. It is unspoken hurt that has not been resolved. It does not disappear. It settles until it is provoked, until the bear is poked. Look at those little glasses. Thank you so much, Leah. Here's a question for you. Do you think unresolved issues are affecting your connection right now? Like, is there resentment at all in your relationship? Hi, Bruce. Homie, yes, absolutely, absolutely. See, it's so common. I wish you had a million years to listen to my... Homie, I have a million years. You could reach out to me. This is what I do for a living. There is no doubt. It gets worse when you get older. 45 years marriage. Here's the... No, bison lover. I am lovingly giving you a kick in the pants right now. Are you ready? Bend over. That is a choice. Resentment does not need to build. It does not need to get worse. If you stay on top of it, resentment is something that can dissipate, that can go away. It's not a comfortable conversation to have, or the series of conversations that you need to have in order to work through it. But is it worth it? Absolutely. Leah, thank you for the Go Populars. His solution is not talking about whatever the issue was, sweep it under the rug and move on. And how's that working for you? It doesn't work, right? Like my rug sweepers or my floor sweepers that push everything under the rug, like there's only so much rug that can cover. And then destruction happens. Thank you, Leah, for the shares. So that's why I encourage you to not let things go. And I'm saying, okay, I have to rephrase because I think that might be taken the wrong way. When an issue arises, address it. Not because you want to bitch and complain, but because it's something that is eroding connection. She lets her 2-year-old daughter decide everything if she wants to do something. Josh, so then that would be a conversation, because it's hard being like the third one in that scenario, right? Because I'm assuming you are not the dad, so you are looked at a little bit differently, which is tough for you. But at the same time, it's not about the 2-year-old, it's about you and her, right? And so delivering a message that comes from your experience and your vulnerability without pointing fingers, without accusing, without being judgmental is what I would encourage you to have. Whitney, thank you for the follow. I want to be a compassionate partner. Then be one, Josh. It's a choice. You either are or you aren't. Maggie, thank you for the little birds. How do you weigh the issue? One might think it's minor. The other one might think it's major. I love this, Ashley. Love this question so much. And thank you for asking it, because it's a common one. If it means something to me, if it matters to me, if it's bothering me, there's no scale whether it's minor or major. It's bothering me and I need to talk about it. It's not my partner's job to judge the major or the minor scale. Not their job. The fact that it's bothering me should be enough. Because if the roles were reciprocated, if the roles were reversed and they had an issue and you completely dismissed it, that wouldn't go well. Yeah, win Maggie in the chat. Thank you, Maggie. What do you do when your partner is more advanced than you? Do you mean between the sheets, Grace? Because if that's what you mean, again, these questions are so good. Thank you for putting them in the chat. Grace, do you mean between the sheets? I get schooled about anything that bothers me, and you get scolded about anything. Well, then I would invite you to say, when something comes up for me, it's because it's bothering me, and because I value our connection so much, I want to bring it to your attention. I do not appreciate being scolded because my feelings matter and they're valid. So what I would appreciate is if you listened to what I had to say about what is bothering me, and then I would love your input. But I don't need to be scolded. You're not my parent, you're my partner. Stop scolding me. Leah, you need to reach out to me, girl. You said you were going to. Married 20 years, he's an alcoholic. Talking doesn't help at all. I have experience with people with this issue for sure, and that is tough. And are they getting the support they need, Melissa? Yeah, me too, Ashley. Yes, between the sheets? Okay, here's why I love that question, Grace, and here's why I hope this will change your perspective. Okay. Let's say you have had absolutely zero experience between the sheets, or perhaps like one partner between the sheets, right? That's experience, okay? Let's validate that. Let's say your partner, and I'm going to completely flip the switch here and say they've had, and I'm just being facetious here, but I'm trying to make a point. Let's say they've had 475 partners, okay? Again, ridiculous, but I'm just trying to make a point. I don't care, and nor should you, and here's why. You, Grace, are different. I'm assuming your name is Grace. If it's not, I apologize. You, Grace, have a different body. You have different erogenous zones. You have different places that you like to be pleasured. You are aroused differently. Your nerves are laid slightly differently in your body. Therefore, I don't care how many partners or experience that he has had. He doesn't know a thing about your body, and every new person is a brand new map that they need to explore. So if that's the angle that they're going, and they say, well, I have way more experience than you, and they're, Dan, thank you so much for the heart me. I sent you, thank you, Leah. To me, experience gives you perhaps confidence, of which makes a difference, but that's something that you can work on, right? But as far as the attitude where I've had 475 partners, so I know what I'm doing, complete BS, because you don't know what you're doing with me. So I'm a brand new map for you to explore. And I would very much like you to treat it as that. Just because I have not explored many maps does not mean I am in a worse off position, if that makes sense. To me, two people that are coming together and they're going to explore each other in that manner. Thank you for the heart me, Kristen. It's a brand new thing. You're both exploring unknown territory. So just because this person might have a bit more confidence, don't let that take away yours. If you are confident in your body, here's a gift that you can give yourself. Here's a gift. And I think you said something about Stephanie. It's Stephanie. That's my company. Okay. Nice to meet you, Stephanie. Here's the thing. A gift that you can give yourself, thank you, Tina, for the follow, is figure out your body, explore your body. This will give you a lot of confidence. Thank you, Miss Maggie, for the hearts, the greeting hearts, and the budding hearts. I appreciate you. Win, Maggie. If you know what turns you on, Stephanie, you can then use that information and convey it to your partner. That's confidence. I'll tell you what turns me on. I'll tell you exactly what I like. I'll tell you exactly what drives me crazy. That's confidence. He doesn't know that. They don't know that. She doesn't know that, whomever your partner is. I don't care how many partners they've had. You are not the same. The best gift that you can give yourself is learn how your body works, schmexually and non-schmexually. Explore it. That's why self-pleasure is so important. It not only gives you confidence, it teaches you a heck of a lot about your body. It's a gift to give yourself. So please give it to yourself if you have not. If you don't know how your body functions in that manner, I would hope that you would take that invitation and start to learn. I'll send you a DM, Shauna, interested in a possible. Awesome. Thank you, Matt. I do have a girlfriend outside of, oh shoot, puzzle piece. Do you have a girlfriend outside of him? I've explored her more than him and he gets jealous. So why, Ashley? I want to know why. Because if you are in an open relationship and you have, thank you for the follow, Stephanie. If you are in an open relationship and you've made that agreement, this is where open relationships can kind of get tricky, right? It's because feelings get involved, jealousy and all that kind of stuff. So maybe it's perhaps time to make better boundaries and talk about those feelings and why he's feeling that way. Thank you, Leah, for the club cheers. But I get jealous. But I get jealous if he's with another girl I didn't choose for him. Okay, that's a sit down and a chat. Thank you for the Go Populars, Maggie. Because that's interesting information. Like, feelings aren't facts, right? They're just information that our body is telling us. And so it's not a bad thing to talk about what's coming up for you. And it's not a bad thing to feel uncomfortable. A lot of people shy away from like sitting in their feelings because it's uncomfortable and they brush them under the rug. No. Learn to get a little bit more comfortable being uncomfortable. It's so helpful in relationships. It helps you get through conversations. It helps you talk more about your schmeck's life, which increases the level of intimacy, which increases libido. Resentment is no joke. Don't let it build. It will destroy connection. It gets messy. Messy's okay, because messes can be cleaned up, Ashley. Right? And if you don't talk about them, that's disconnecting. Okay, fifth thing that causes us to get in the roommate zone. Are we ready? Intimacy becomes about pressure rather than connection. What does that look like in the wild? So if there hasn't been intimate time, one partner might feel rejected. Tricky Joe, thank you for the follow. The other might feel obligated or pressured. We talked about duty sex, and we talk about it a lot in here. I don't want anybody in here feeling obligated to jump between their sheets. I want you to want to jump between the sheets with your partner. And if you don't want to, if you don't want to or want to, we have some work to do. That I'm putting aside the people who have made a decision and that's not for them, and my asexual people. I'm not talking about those people, but I'm talking about people who are in a state where they're roommates and don't want to be there. Because pressure leads to avoidance, avoidance leads to more pressure, and more pressure leads to more distance. Because when intimacy feels like pressure, your body does not lean in. It pulls away. Because like I've said before, your nervous system plays a big role in your sexual response cycle. And if your nervous system is dysregulated, or you're feeling stressed or pressured or anxious or whatever it may be, cortisol shoots through the roof. Guess what happens to feelings of arousal and perhaps feelings of potential pleasure? They plummet. They plummet. And so being intimate with your partner is not where the problem shows up. Being intimate with your partner is often where the problem shows up, but not where it starts. Like disconnection happens outside of the bedroom as opposed to inside of the bedroom. It just filters in to the bedroom. So what happens when nothing changes? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a sec. Because, please keep tapping, let's get coach to 50,000. Thank you, Maggie. Because when we stop turning toward our partner, or when we stop like wanting to have conversations and wanting to engage with our partner, silence replaces connection, right? Thank you for the greeting heart, Leah. Irritation increases over the small things. Like I mentioned at the very beginning of the live, I said something like, "Oh, your breathing annoys me." Like when those things start to annoy you, it's information. Like we need to perhaps have a little bit more awareness of what's happening between our partner and ourselves, right? And all too often we're in a place where we feel unseen, unimportant, disconnected. And if that is consistent, Ashley, thank you so much for the "You're awesome." Appreciate you. If that's consistent, it tends to put us in a state of like emotional numbness. Not a happy place to be. Sometimes a loss of identity within the relationship arises, increased vulnerability to outside attention or outside validation. Mark, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the fam. Thank you for sharing the live, Ashley. Here's the thing. Disconnection does not stay neutral. It either grows or it gets repaired. If you are in a state of, I am not in Florida, I am in Arizona. If you are in a state of disconnection, it doesn't stay like that. It either gets wider or you take the awareness that you have at the time and start building a bridge and you repair it. When I was pregnant, his breathing was so irritating. Yeah, when you're pregnant, a lot of things are irritating, right, Mrs. Mazook? I remember that. That's funny. My daughter is pregnant right now, and it's funny to hear some of the things that she says. Oh, it's very funny. Not funny for her, but kind of funny at the same time. That's funny. Okay. Have you ever noticed there's certain times in your relationship, not while you're pregnant, but in the normal days of your relationship? Have you ever noticed your patience getting shorter in your relationship? 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Mine would be a 1. I just wrote down a 1 on my piece of paper. I don't know why I did that. That's funny. Look at all these 1s. Look at all these honest people in my chat. I love it. I'm not saying that if there was a 2 that you were being dishonest. Tolerance shrinks 100%. When there are things that are happening and there's a disconnect, tolerance definitely shrinks. This is normal. And you know what I like about it? You can look at it as a negative, or you can look at it as, okay, this is some really good information. I'm not patient right now. What is this telling me? There's something else happening, and I need to address it, repair it, so I can feel connected again. And that's why awareness is so important, because a lot of times this happens over a lot of consistent interactions where we aren't intentional and we don't fully show up for our partner and we are very dismissive, or whatever the case may be. That happens over time, and a lot of times we don't see it coming. But that's why I just encourage you to open your eyes a little bit when it comes to your relationship, and take note, or do little self check-ins. Hello, Mr. Bella. Do little self check-ins as to where you feel the connections at. That's why I encourage my couples to have little chats at the end of the week or every 2 weeks and say hey, thank you for the little melodic birds, Maggie. Appreciate you. Win Maggie in the chat. Janine, thank you for the follow. I am doing well, Marilyn. How are you? So good to see you. Oh, thank you, Maggie. It's important to have those little check-ins, and you could even say, hey, how was your week? What happened this week that made you feel loved by me? What happened? Did anything happen this week that made you feel more connected? I'd like to know, because I would like to repeat it. I want to feel connected to you, and the things that you do that make me feel connected are perhaps very different than the things that I do to make you feel connected. So let's talk about it. Because at the end of the day, I like feeling connected to you. So is there anything that I did this week that made you feel more connected, loved, seen, heard, whatever word you want to use? All of those are very connecting, right? Okay, let's find another cute one of those. Okay, let's talk about how to rebuild the connection. This is where it gets juicy, right? This is the good stuff. This is the way back. This is how to build a bridge. I always pick the same ones. I don't know, I could be, I don't know. Here's one. I think I picked this one last week, but that's okay. I like to pick the ones have hearts and stuff on them, because that's what we're talking about, right? Let's see. A united heart. I don't know. We're talking about connection, so let's talk about uniting hearts. Okay. Oh, thank you, Leah, for giving her that. Do you think it happens because you're getting older and it's a natural thing to lose patience? Diana, awesome question. I think, Maggie, thank you so much for the united heart. Appreciate you, Maggie. Win, Maggie. I think sometimes when we have hormonal fluctuations or we're going through perimenopause or menopause, that very much impacts our patient's level because our estrogen levels are decreasing in our brain cells, and our brain cells love to bathe in estrogen. And so when they are decreasing, it does impact our different parts of the brain, our frontal cortex, our amygdala. And so it's interesting that you said that. Because that does play a part for sure. And hopefully if that's where you are, you have the awareness and you can get the support that you need, because there's so many different things that you can do to help support you through that transition. Because sometimes, like, I get people telling me that they want to put a pillow over their partner's face, and like, it's not that they don't love them any longer, it's just that they don't know why they're so impatient, or they snap at their partner, or whatever it may be. So perimenopause and menopause aside, I get fussy on my period though. That's normal, Ashley, because those hormones are fluctuating, right? And you feel like crap, Ashley, right? Thank you, honey, for the United Hearts. Appreciate it. Yeah. Win, hubby. Okay. So fluctuating hormones definitely play a part. But again, it's good to know where you're at in your body, right? Understanding if it in fact is hormonal fluctuation, or is it because you have this disconnect with your partner? Because they're different. Okay. How do we shift from me versus you to me and you versus the problem? Thank you for the Go Populars, honey. I snap at him because I feel frustrated when he I hit 40 and I'm a complete nightmare. How to deal with one a week out of the month. How to deal with 1 week out of the month. I hit 40 and I'm a complete nightmare now to deal with 1 week out of the month. Stephanie, I'm sorry, Stephanie. Hormonal. And I promise you, it does not last forever. Thank you for the Go Populars, Leah. But when you have that state of connection with your partner and you feel supported, it does make it easier to go through. And especially if you have an incredibly understanding and supportive partner. When he is not intimate for 3 or... I don't know why it cuts you off, patty cakes. I don't even like myself. Stephanie. That's fair, because sometimes we turn into somebody else when those hormones are like all over the place. I get that. I'm having a hysterectomy in a few weeks. Might get worse. Okay, Stephanie, can I ask you, are you having a full or a partial? And do you have a plan in place afterwards? Like, is your doctor menopause informed? Do you know that? Like, what are their plans for you after? Because you will go into surgical menopause after, right? I have so many questions for you, Stephanie. Okay, how to rebuild that connection? I want to go from you versus me, because it's not a you versus me. We're on the same team, right? We're partners. I want to, if an issue arises, feel like it's us versus the issue, as opposed to you versus me versus the issue, right? Because a lot of couples get stuck in blame cycles. Thank you, T, for the heart me. I appreciate that. How are you? Welcome in. Many people their goal is to win the argument. And if they win the argument, I mean, yay you, I guess, but you lose connection. So if that was your goal, to win the argument, do a little yeehaw because you won the argument, but also understand that you obliterated connection. So you might need a perspective shift on that. Blacker Tony, how are you today? Nice to see you. Big hugs to you over in the East Coast. Thank you so much for the United Hearts. I appreciate you, Tony. Win Tony in the chat. Thank you for the populars too, and the heart me. You're just a blast in the chat. I love it. Win Blacker for sure. Okay, so please understand that if your goal is to win the argument, you are getting yourself into a disconnecting state. And perhaps if you continue that, you will get the prize of being in the roommate zone. That's what happens when you want to win every argument. You lose connection. Honey, got to be on the same page. 100%. It's a choice though, T, right? And there's that saying like happy wife, happy life. I think that's the stupidest saying. Because so you have a happy wife and that means what? You're unhappy? No. I don't like that. I like the more, how about we try and figure it out so we're a team on the same page? And I'm not saying that there's not some like differing opinions and all that kind of stuff. I think conflict is a beautiful opportunity to get to understand one another better. But at the same time, it's how you move through conflict and how you resolve it and how you repair from it. You stay connected as opposed to widening the disconnect, right? Language matters. Please get rid of terms like always and you never, because statistically speaking, logically speaking, that's usually wrong. Absolutes don't really do well in conversation. Thank you, Blacker Tony, for the festival bracelet. Festival bracelets. Thank you. Win Blacker again in the chat. Love it. Me and my husband are basically roommates. It's not a good feeling. Leah, that's why you have me, Leah. We're going to change that. I always apologize if needed. Sometimes I'm off. Yeah, and we're human. And you know what? Like, if you are somebody that doesn't apologize, that's a red flag to me because you're not taking accountability. We all need to take accountability. We all screw up. We all need a tiny kick in the pants sometimes to get back on track. We are human. Humans make mistakes. And if you learn from the mistake, take accountability from it, and change your behavior, that's so connecting. That will get you out of the roommate zone a little quicker. Okay, so I would like you to replace always and you never with I feel, I need, I want us to. Oh my gosh, I just realized I'm toxic. Makes up eggs is like poor makeup. Oh, it's like poor conditioning. If it's consistent and done a lot, like if you're using that in replacement of repair, Ashley, yes. If it's done occasionally along with repair, I don't have a problem with it. But it has to be paired with repair. Win Blacker. Instead of, you never listen to me, I would love you to say, I feel unheard, and I would really like to feel more connected in our conversations. Saying the same thing. Suzanne, thank you for the heart me. Appreciate you, Suzanne. Because you're not enemies. Your partner's facing a problem together. You're on the same team. So I would love to move your arguments from like a battlefield to a place where solutions are made or are created together. How do we rebuild that emotional safety? Because that's really important to do. Like that's like one of the first stages after you shift that perspective from we are on opposing sides. So once you have made the realization that you are on the same team and you've conveyed that and you've agreed upon that, thank you for the follow. It's time to build that emotional safety back, because without safety, there is no vulnerability. There is no openness and there is no intimacy. Thank you, Blacker, so much for that united heart. I appreciate that. Emotional safety is so crucial in building connection, in rebuilding connection. If you feel like a roommate, look at your emotional safety place. Where is it at? Do you feel safe to be vulnerable? Hey, Lily, it is a partnership. 100% a partnership. That's why it's called your partner. Because if you had that sense, if you created that space of emotional safety, guess what happens to your willingness to be open? Thank you, Kenneth, for the repost, and thank you for the sharing. When you have that willingness to be open, vulnerability increases. When vulnerability increases, guess what happens to desire? Your libido. You need to feel that space where you feel safe first, that emotional safety zone. And again, I'm not talking about physical safety, although that is very important as well. I'm talking about emotional safety. Could you go up to your partner right now and let them know, I feel, I need, fill in the blank? Could you do that? If you do not feel comfortable doing that, you've got some work to do. And it's okay if you do. Like, we all have our issues. We all have things that we're working on. Richard, I have questions for you. Why not? And some of these things might come into play. There might not be emotional safety. You might be in the roommate zone. There might be resentment there. There might be a loss of, I don't know. Like, there's, depending on your whys and your goals, what you want this relationship to look like is dependent on what I would say to you. What I would like you to do when you're rebuilding this emotional safety is please acknowledge what your partner is saying before responding. Please listen. The skill of listening in a relationship is so underrated, and a lot of people suck at listening. And I know that sounds harsh, but they do. We have not been taught how to listen. We have not been taught how to respond effectively. We lived in 2 different countries for 10 months. Okay. So if you find yourself wanting to respond before your partner is even finished, there's some information for you. That means perhaps you might want to look at the skill of listening. And when you have that awareness, you could say, okay, like, I need to give my partner a bit more space. And I understand, like, when you're in the heat of it, sometimes you jump in a little bit. That's fine. But, like, just be aware of it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Please finish. I love that, Tony. But here's the thing I say about trying. Are you ready, Black or Tony? There is, I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. So choose to do it. Thank you for the Go Populars, Ashley. Like, I don't want you to just try. I want you to do it. Doesn't mean you're going to be perfect at all the time. But a lot of what we tell ourselves matters, right? So if we say, oh, yeah, I'll try. I don't permit my clients to leave a session saying, yeah, I'm going to try really hard, Shauna. No. I want you to commit to do it. I'm not asking for perfection. I just want you to do it. And why is there a difference there, Tony? Because our beliefs, what we tell ourselves becomes our beliefs become our attitudes become our behaviors, right? I'm not asking anybody to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. We weren't created to be perfect. It's a learning journey, right? And the more we do it, the better at it we get. No, I don't even want that, Lily. I don't even want, I will do my best. No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I know I'm not going to be perfect at it, but I'm going to do it. Yeah. Expectations get in the way and then they destroy relationships too, Lily, right? Like, we talked about that before. But here's the thing. Listening matters. Listening to your partner matters. Listening to what's coming up for you, that matters. I just take a little assessment of your listening skills to yourself and to your partner. And if you are listening to respond, I want you to perhaps think of it differently. I want you I want you to just listen to what they have to say. Practice the pause and then respond. Interesting. Commit rather than try. Good. Thank you. I think it's important. I don't think that we understand how powerful this guy is. We don't. Thank you for the united heart, Maggie. And Ashley, thank you for the pop. We don't fully, like, we can't wrap our head around how powerful this guy is. It is in control of our sexual response. It's in control of the way we behave based on our experiences and what we believe, our feelings, which aren't even facts. Feelings are not facts. Feelings are like waves. They come and go. In words of one of those, just do it. I like that, JP. Thank you for the you're awesome. It's Molly, I appreciate that. Marissa, how are you feeling? I was going to send you a text after. I hope that you're recovering well, my friend. Big hugs to you. Thank you for the united heart. Do or don't. There is no try. Amen. Liberal shade. Love it. I'm glad you're doing well, Marissa. 1 week to recover, girl. Get on it. Okay, I want you to acknowledge before responding. I also think it's really important to validate somebody's feelings, even if you don't agree. I can understand why you feel that way. Even like it's okay not to agree with everything. You are completely a different person, but please validate their feelings because their feelings matter just as yours do. They might not make sense to you. That's okay. That's why we have curiosity and that's why we can ask questions. Can you please tell me a little bit more about that so I can understand a bit better? Instead of, are you serious? You're overreacting. Like, really? Really? Oh, can you please tell me more because I don't understand? Hi, Diana. That makes sense how you feel that way, right? Or there's so many other things you could say. But validating is really important. Because safety isn't built in the big moments, not in the grand moments. It's built on how you respond to these small moments. Communication is everything, Kenneth. I agree with you. And it's how we communicate, right? Because I can say the same thing. I can convey it like 5 different ways and I'll get 5 different responses. But if I want to stay connected to my partner, if I want to reignite a spark, if I want to get out of the roommate zone, I am going to select an inviting tone, which is not judgmental, nor is it going to be accusatory, and it's not going to be unkind. It's going to be inviting because I want to invite connection in. I don't want to be disconnected anymore. Okay, so reintroducing intentional connection. Let's do it. Truth. I need my crown, Marissa. Okay, so you can't expect connection without creating a space for it. You just can't. You can't just wake up and say like, okay, I think today that we'll feel connected. And then just hope for the best. Thank you for the clown boogie, Maggie. Connection doesn't happen that way. We have to create spaces of connection. It's a choice. It is a choice. So practical ideas might include the check-ins like that I talked about before. And when you're doing those connections or those little check-ins with your partner, put your freaking phone away, please, just for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Because if you are on your phone while your partner is trying to connect with you, that sends such a strong message without saying a thing. You are not a priority to me. You are not important. What you have to say does not matter. I could go on and on and on and on. No distractions. We are being intentional about connecting. Just you and me. My phone can wait. The kids can wait 5-10 minutes. Luca, thank you for the follow. Another idea would be like sharing highs and lows of the day. You could use this with kiddos too. Instead of saying, Yes, 100% Maggie. Turn off the TV, face them. Or else sitting beside them on the couch is often a little bit less, I don't want to use the word scary, but a lot of times people find eye contact when they're in a disconnected state a little bit intimidating. So even sitting side by side might take that feeling of overwhelm away. What is a check-in? It's just basically checking in, liberal, on your partner. It's asking them, you know, hey, like, tell me something that was good today. Or what's something that I did this week that made you feel loved by me? Or if I could do one thing for you this week that would make you feel really connected to me, like what would that be? I read the main cause for separation is lack of respect. That's one of them. It's not all. It's like it's the lack of intentional connection. It is it's the emotional safety that has been destroyed. It is the thought process of you versus me. There's a lot to it, but respect for sure is one of them. And I find like respect, a lack of respect is challenging to come back from. It's a lot of work, but it's definitely not the first step of disconnection at all. And there's so many things that you can do before it gets to separation and lack of respect, right? That's why we're talking about reintroducing intentional connection and working on emotional safety and that mindset of we're a team. Communication, connection, kindness, trust, and safety. Those are beautiful ingredients to an awesome recipe for sure. Making the time to spend with one another is important. Yeah, and when we talk about love, like I've done like IG quotes and I think I've even done some videos and like love isn't a feeling. I don't think. Love is very much an action. Because I love you means like how I show my love to you, right? Thank you for the rose, Tony. Oh, I might not suck after all. You don't suck, Tony. That's funny. Connection needs time, attention, presence. It does not survive on leftovers. It does not survive on crumbs. It needs consistent nourishment. Again, I equate it kind of like a garden. You can plant the seeds and just hope for the best. And then nothing really happens, right? Weeds come, they take over, they destroy your garden. If you take time to water it, put it in a place where it's going to get some sunshine, fertilize it, pull the weeds, it's going to thrive because you have consistently taken the time to care for it. If you want a great relationship, if you want to get out of the roommate zone, if you want to feel connected, garden it, Chauncey, yes. Choose it. You're either choosing connection or you're not. With every single solitary interaction with your partner, you're choosing it or you're not. Chauncey, a green thumb. Thank you for the heart me, the Nicole Martinez group. Appreciate you. Here's a number 4 in my little outline that I did. Bringing back play and novelty. I talk about being silly, having fun, getting back into that zone where flirting feels fun and natural and normal. This is a lot. It is. But here's the thing, Tony, being in the stage of being a roommate when you don't want to be, that's a lot too, right? So choose your heart. Do you want to be in a roommate zone or do you want to feel deeply connected? It's a decision that everybody has to make, but I know what I want to choose. 100%, Chauncey. Okay, here's the thing about bringing back play and novelty. It lowers the defenses. It doesn't make you so quick to pull out those defense mechanisms. And here's another thing. Novelty sparks dopamine. We love that because dopamine is that excitement, that attraction hormone. Takes two to tango, 100%. So try something new together. Be playful, tease, flirt, do something that you used to do early on. A lot of people bring that up to me and say, well, our connection isn't what it was in the beginning. And my first thing is, okay, well, are you treating your partner the way you did at the beginning? Are you doing all those things? Are you pursuing? Are you flirting? Are you dating? No, we're married. Oh, interesting. You can't expect you to feel the same way if you're not doing the same things. Everybody likes to feel wanted, pursued, loved, desired, all of those things. Don't stop. Continue to flirt with your partner. Backseat of the drive-in. Love that. Yes. Absolutely. And that is what I call recreational intimacy. There's a lot of different types of intimacy. Recreational intimacy is one of the easiest ways to increase your level of connection. It's not so overwhelming. It's doing something fun with your partner. Make a list of the things that you might want to do together. Hey, we haven't really spent a lot of time together lately, and I'd love to get back to doing that. Like, would you be interested in coming up with a list of things that we could potentially do? Like, I know I'd love to go and have a picnic. So I'm going to write picnic down. Well, what are some things that you would like to do? Oh, that's a great idea. I would like to fill in the blank. And then hopefully you have a list of things that you can come back to and choose and start knocking them off. Like, those are fun. And when you're doing new things together, that dopamine is released. You are connecting in a way that doesn't have any pressure involved. That's where I'm in my relationship and it sucks. Feels like roommates, and I try. It goes unnoticed. Then it's time to sit down and have a conversation. I feel like we're in a roommate zone, and I very much miss feeling connected to you. And I would like to know if you are interested in working together to get out of this roommate zone. I want to have fun with you again. Like, would you be interested in going on a date with me next week? Again, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to go crazy. You could but do something. Like, it doesn't have to be this big thing of rediscovering your partner, but learning to re-experience them in new ways. That's what I want you to do. Love that, Lily. Candy baby. Thank you for the heart me. Appreciate you. Okay. Step 5. I think it's really important too, and again, we've talked about this before, but address the hard stuff. Have the uncomfortable conversations, because that is how you release resentment and how you stay away from that avoidance. Avoidance creates distance. If you keep avoiding these conversations, the distance gets bigger. Conversations create clarity. They create healing. Thank you, Maggie, for the united heart. I appreciate you. What is my definition of mature love? I don't know that I would necessarily put the word mature in. Like, love is love to me. It looks different to everybody. What do I define love as? Consistently showing up for one another. It's knowing that I have a place that I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel desired, I feel appreciated. I don't know. He avoids my conversation about it. Time to sit down and have a scheduled chat, Candy baby. Thank you, Maggie, so much. Oh, Lord. How come, oh, Lord, Tony? Did I scare you? Those uncomfortable conversations are important. And here's a framework that you can use. When, fill in the blank, happens, I feel, fill in the blank. Or when this happened, I felt, fill in the blank. And what I need moving forward is, fill in the blank. Thank you. Because we know, Candy, that avoidance increases disconnection. So I feel like sometimes that you avoid hard conversations with me, and I know sometimes they can be uncomfortable, but at the end I always feel so much more connected to you, and that's kind of my goal. Thank you, Diana, for the heart me. Thank you, JP, for the follow. And you know what I'm going to say, right? When we schedule JP for the follow. And you know what I'm going to say, right? When we schedule ask your partner when they have some time to chat. Watch your tone, because tone matters. You are going to invite your partner into a connection or a connected state, as opposed to having like coming in hot. That's not so inviting. Because hard conversations that are handled well create closeness. Avoiding ones create, like I said, distance. Some relationships become of financial necessity, stay together and agree to an open marriage. I mean, different relationships are different. Absolutely. But somewhere along the way, like you started really connected and loving one another, and then something happens, there's disconnect. That's what we're talking about, right? And then I'm just staying here because of financial means, and let's have an open marriage. When if we go back and figure out why the disconnect happened and elevate our skills and learn, I was just glitching. My mom called, that's why. If we figure out why that disconnect happened, we can prevent it from happening again. All too often people end a relationship and think that person wasn't for me, and they have all these reasons. That's fine. If you enter another relationship, the same thing's going to happen, because you have not elevated your skills in any way. You have the same skills. You are going to fight the same way. You are going to communicate the same way. I turn into Where's Waldo when it comes to certain conversations. Black or Tony, we have some work to do. Awareness is key, though, Black or Tony, because when we have awareness, that means we can make some changes. Stuff is hard to talk about sometimes. It brings up a lot of unresolved feelings and maybe potentially trauma and like things that, whatever, it brings up stuff. Hey, Chula, how are you? But the consequences of not having these conversations are much worse than actually having them. A lot of people don't realize that. Hard conversations handled well create closeness. Conversations that are not had create distance. So how do we rebuild this physical intimacy without pressure? Luger, I was married for about 400 years. I was in an abusive marriage, and then I got out, and I have now been married for, I think it'll be 8 years at the end of this month. Is it 8 or 7? Maybe 7. 8. 8 blissful years. It takes work. Absolute consistency. It's a choice. It is a choice. Okay, how do we rebuild this physical intimacy without pressure? Are you ready? Start with that emotional connection. Don't start with actually jumping between the sheets. You're skipping some steps. Reconnect through touch, not expectation. Non-schmexual touch before schmexual touch. Hold hands, hand on thigh, little massages, hugs. Non-schmexual touch before schmexual touch. This is building emotional safety because there's no expectation. Because expectation, guess what that does? It destroys connection and it increases pressure. We don't want that. We want affection without agenda. We want that gradual rebuilding of comfort. Desire grows in environments where people feel safe, seen, and relaxed. That's how you get out of the roommate zone. Because that wanting to rip each other's clothes off again, you need that environment where you feel safe, seen, and relaxed. Again, that nervous system cannot feel pleasure if it's trying to protect itself. The two don't play well together. It's either one or the other. So, please know that roommate relationships or sexless relationships, incredibly common, but it does not mean the relationship is doomed. Kind words always, Chula, always. I want to go into like I'm not a Band-Aid person. I'm a root of the problem person. Let's find the root of the problem. Is there emotional? Thank you, Maggie, for that united heart. Is there emotional disconnection? Is there chronic stress? Are there hormonal shifts? Is it a lack of communication about needs and desires and wants? Is there performance pressure? Win Maggie in the chat. Because when we find the root of the problem of why you're in that roommate position, we can get out of it. We need to remove the shame. This is something that we can work on. There's not something wrong with us. It's just something that we need to work on. Start with conversation, not schmecks. I miss feeling close to you. I would love to find my way back to you. I do. Do one-on-one coaching. Yes, I do. I want you to rebuild outside of the bedroom before you try and build inside of the bedroom. Because that's emotional connection. That is safety. That is where playfulness has room to come to the table. You don't fix a schmecksless relationship by focusing on schmecks. You just don't. You fix it by rebuilding connection first. Because you don't fall out of love, you fall out of connecting habits. I'm a recent widow and have found that talk is cheap and action missing in my search. I'm sorry for your loss, Luger. Grief is tough to navigate. It sucks, I'm sorry. Talk is cheap. I think that depends on who you are talking with, because I don't think my talk is cheap. But I very much think that it needs to be backed up with action for sure. And if you have not found somebody that has both, I don't think that that's a loss. I think you're one step closer to finding somebody who's more suited for you. I think it's a lot of learning. So, a powerful reframe. Are you ready? House of Rebellion, thank you for the follow. Summers, 55 Summers. You can send me a DM right on the page and you and I can have a little chit chat. Especially if you follow me, you'll be easy to find. Here's a reframe. The relationship that you have today, like today, just look around at your relationship. It very much reflects what has been practiced. If If you want change, change. Love is not a feeling that you wait for. It's an action that you choose. Consistency creates connection, not intensity. So your relationship doesn't have to stay in the roommate zone. It just doesn't. A lot of people think they're doomed when they're there. You can think that, and that's your choice. But you don't have to stay there if you don't want to. It will require intention, effort, and both people choosing to show up differently if you want to get out. And again, like I mentioned before with Tony, like I'm not like, you don't have to do it perfectly, because that's not going to work. And if you set yourself up with the expectation of being perfect, you will be very disappointed, because we don't work that way. We're not perfect. But consistently, if you show up differently, things are going to change. And that's what matters. Thank you, Maggie, for Tom's hug. I love my little Tom's hug. Resonate with everything you're saying. Glad you're talking about this subject. Thank you for saying that, House of Rebellion. And I think like this topic is so incredibly important, right? Because I think it does resonate with a lot of people. It's just hard to talk about. Like we go out into the wild and we pretend we have this white picket fence and our connection with our person is like amazing. And then we come home and we're like, ugh, like I just don't like where we're at. But a lot of people don't know how to get out of it. Yeah, it's not the end of your book, House of Rebellion. It doesn't have to be. It just could be a new chapter. Like, close that chapter. We're done being roommates. Let's make a new commitment. Let's figure out how to get out of this zone, because it sucks being here. Like, some people like it. Excellent. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people who are roommates and don't want to be. Consistency matters. Showing up differently matters. Again, if you want change, change. Right? And that is what I have to say on the topic. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Oh, we dwindled, didn't we? So funny when I start talking about uncomfortable things that a lot of people are like, oh, I'm out. But I appreciate you being here so much. And I appreciate all the taps that you gave and the little gifts and the shares and the reposts. I appreciate you. And I appreciate your time, because I know like we only have 24 hours in the day, right? So I very much appreciate you. If you are on your own tonight, please do something kind for yourself. If you are with somebody, please do something kind for them. Thank you, Miss Maggie, for the bouquet. I appreciate you. And I will see you on Tuesday. For those of you who are involved in the other community, I will be coming back to help get some boosts or power-ups or whatever the heck they're called. I don't know what they're called, but you know the drill. So I'll be back shortly. But for those of you who want to discuss more relationship and schmex related topics, intimacy, connection, conflict, communication, all those juicy tidbits, we'll be back Tuesday. So have a fantastic weekend. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Thank you so much. I hope you have a good evening.